it's, sort of a dominant like burial type game, and the score line wasn't crazy, right? 4-0, but I think what we did see was a lot of really good stuff after they packed it on pretty well in the first period.
Yeah, I mean, from puck drop, they controlled that entire game. I mean, physically, through shots, defensively, they were on their game. And I think, man, wow, what a difference from what we've seen in previous Eastern Conference Finals. Thank God. Oh
Exactly. Yeah.
man,
It's really cool to be sort of over the hump of that, like, can't get a win in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're up 3-1. Obviously, still one big game to go. But it feels good. I think one thing that I said to you while we were watching the game is like watching, the past few years when we have matched up against the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final, we saw a Canes team that was sort of getting big brothered, right? They were getting pushed around, and you saw sort of that emotional reaction to getting pushed around, and we take sloppy penalties. But then you look at this series, and we're doing that to another team. And in my short time watching the Canes over the last like 5 years, it's really cool to be able to say that we're on this end of that coin.
yeah. I mean, I think they've definitely answered the question, like, is this year's team different? Because I know that was a big question going into the regular season. I mean, and it's hard to gauge off the regular season because they looked just as good as they always look. And I think we finally actually know the answer to that question. And this team is firing, absolutely firing. I think we called out production of the top guys early on in the series, and they've all produced since we brought that up. So I
Yeah.
think we've seen the. I think tonight specifically, actually, we saw scoring from all different lines. It was pretty great. I think we saw our top guys get involved. I think the Stankoven line got involved, and I think when we're relying on offense from two lines and they can both provide, I think we're going to have games that go our way like this.
Yeah, yeah, and similar to the other games, we've seen a game where the Canadians are held to under 20 shots, right? And Freddie throws a shutout. Always love that. Um,
Oh, yes. Big,
yeah,
honestly, big shout out to the Freddie performance. I am the maybe the biggest Frederick Anderson hater, but I think he performed very well. I That is very redeeming to me to see him really bounce back from pretty good performances in games 1, 2, and 3, but I mean, it didn't feel like the same as when we were playing Ottawa or Philadelphia, but it really sounds like he's found his rhythm here against Montreal, and that is really important when you're playing a really skilled and young team. So,
yeah,
thank God.
yeah, 100%. We have not been treated to a lot of classic, same old Freddie types of games. So I am always
He's
grateful
healthy.
for that. Yeah, he's healthy. I think one big thing, they mentioned it on the broadcast tonight, was, Bussy goes in and gets over, what, 30 starts for the games throughout the season?
I think it was over half.
Yeah,
Or maybe not over half, but close to half of the starts for sure.
yeah, and he gets, or it might be 30 wins is what they said. Regardless, that's huge because that's 30 games that Freddie isn't out there, risking getting hurt, and he gets to be somewhat fresh going into the playoffs, and we've seen that pays off a lot. Um, but yeah, so I think one thing that we sort of talked about doing for this particular episode, and as we try to find our groove with the podcast streaming setup, was I just took some notes from the game as the game went on, and sort of was keeping track of different plays, different things going on that we sort of saw and kept track of. So I think we could just probably start at the top with the first period if you're down, and
Yeah, break it
I'll
down.
sort of have you react to what I wrote down. So the first of which that I wrote down was we saw two pretty early power plays for the Habs, and at first they were getting some good cycle time in the Kane zone. But then we really saw, this was the big one. I have it underlined. Miller step up in both those power plays and get key clears when the Canes needed it the most and needed to get a change. So I just wanted to get your take on that, see if you saw the same thing. But yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, when we were watching that game, that was the point where I think I was the most nervous in the game. I mean, the Canes had controlled most of the play up until that point. But you always worried about getting goalied against a team that has a good goalie. And so I know at that point in time, I was a little nervous that, they were going to get just going the other way and that the Canadians would ultimately find a way to bury like one of their first couple of shots,
yeah,
and I think with the way the series has gone, we've actually seen that happen a couple of times
exactly.
because of
We saw
the Kane system. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
saw a
I think
couple of huge like puck battles right in front of Freddie during those two power plays that in game one, right? That was the thing that a lot of people were clinging to, saying that we couldn't control the puck battles in front of the net that game. That was not the case on these power plays, and I think even in those moments where, like you said, you were nervous for the game, we were still winning those battles, and I think that was really good to see. But the other thing that I had written down about the same time of the first period, and it was sort of something that you pointed out, was Lane Hudson looked kind of tired.
in Hudson, I mean, I think all of the Canadians look tired. And yeah, I mean, I think our penalty kill has been pretty solid. Just to touch back on what you had said before, I think our penalty kill has been pretty solid all postseason, and I think game one being our exception in this series. So I definitely like that the Canes didn't let that become habit or find repetition in that. They found a way to make the proper adjustments and find their game again. So getting those penalty kills was huge. And I think you had talked about Miller. I wanted to give him some praise too, because one of those penalties was Chatfield, if I remember properly, and that's one of your defensive guys on the PK, and it's hard to lose someone that's on the penalty kill. So I think for Miller to step up and just really fill that role and just play both, I think just what an effort from him.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I it's what we needed, and it's fits the larger theme of the playoffs. The Canes are coming up with the plays that they need, like the moment they need them. They're not missing a beat. So coming off of those two power plays, I think we get a good amount of 4-on-4 time, which was awesome, and that leads into a Canes power play where tell us about who scores.
Uh,
Someone that
my
you said
favorite guy.
needed.
Yeah, my favorite guy, Sebastian Aho, man. Not my favorite guy, but what a goal for him. Finally, I mean, he's a playmaker. I don't think he's a sniper, so I think we've seen him looking for a lot of plays this series. But Rod told him to shoot, man, and look what happens when you put pucks on net. And
Exactly.
good ones at that. And just what a one timer, man. What a shot. I love that he kept it low. I love that he wasn't trying to pick like a top corner or anything. He knew exactly where he wanted to put it. He knew Dobesh was sliding across. He was gonna have like a split second between the post, and he just let it rip. So
It's a big
thank
time
God that,
shot.
like I said, yeah, that top line or our top guys, I guess in general, I wanted to see producing, and I think look at what a difference in a game like tonight that kind of player can have. Those guys had such an impact on this series now, and I'm glad they showed up when they did. I think they're getting hot, really, right when you want them
The
to.
right time.
Um,
It's the right
yeah,
time. I in the notes I wrote down after that Aho goal. I was like, thank God. It's like getting. I feel like, especially with him, the volume's been a bit of the loudest that it's been for anyone on the Canes with respect to getting on the scoreboard, and it's like that's huge, man. Getting that monkey off of your back has to feel great, and I think it really set the tone for the team because about a minute later, Jordan Stahl buries one off of like a really tough play from Keandre Miller, and who just gets it right in front of the net for Jordan Stahl. That was really cool because it's just like shows that the hard work at the beginning, killing those power plays at the beginning, and being such a big like key player on that kill, Keandre Miller is then able to go to the other end of the ice and generate a scoring opportunity, and that's so cool to see.
Yeah, well, and I think I'm curious to see what the media covers. But obviously, aside from stats, I think the big difference that this game really, makes apparent between these two teams is that one can lose battles and stay composed, and the other one really cannot. And I think when you look at the mountain that Montreal now has to climb after that, I just I don't want to say the Canes have this one in the bag, but it feels great to be on this end of it. Let's just put it
They're
that
in
way.
such a good spot, right? Through having to win 3 games seems a lot more challenging than having to win one.
Having to win
Um,
three in a row.
and it's
Yeah, you
like
can't lose.
they're not just games too, right? They're NHL playoff games, and I think that isn't easy, right? There's a reason why it doesn't happen very often. The Canes get to go back to Raleigh too, and
Yeah.
get Lenovo rocking, and I think that would be a really cool moment to happen in front of Canes fans. Is getting to see us break down that door, that Eastern
The
Conference
Eastern Conference.
door that has just held us back for so long. So no, I think they're in prime position, and the domination is huge, and that was sort of the the really the theme of the period, because shortly after that stall goal, we see a really cool play between Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven, where Logan Stankoven just gets a beauty of a pass and buries it.
Yeah, and he's been great all playoffs. I mean, at this point in the game, the cortisol was gone.
Yeah,
I'm cortisol free now at this point. I really do think that line has been so spectacular this playoffs. I think they're going to continue humming. They haven't really showed signs of slowing down. I mean, I think now, especially that you have the first line going and teams have to focus on those guys too, I think you're only going to continue to, kind of shed some offense on that second line. And it's going to be hard for the Canadians. 3 games is one thing in a row, but it also, they're just not winning like they're not playing a winning
no,
formula at
no.
all. Not at any part of the ice. And for them, it's like it's not just minor things you got to change. It's like they aren't winning a single battle, and you have to start to wonder like it's just such a tall mountain.
Yeah,
That's a big mountain to climb for them. And I think, to be honest, I think in Game 5 we're gonna know pretty quickly what the outcome will be. I'm not. I think it's gonna be a pretty. I think we're going to see who has control
yep,
real quick.
yep. All right. That being said, I now that we've been waiting to do this for the last few episodes to see if Logan Stankoven would get on the board, but we have a funny tradition that I've sort of started. Gino's birthday's in May. So I've been going on Cameo for the past couple years and getting Logan Stankoven cameo videos for Gino for his birthday.
Coolest thing ever.
So we just
Coolest thing ever for sure. And I joked. It was funny because I actually joked with Sandra before before I'd even known that he had gotten me another cameo this year. I had joked with him. I sent him a text and I said, "Do you think Logan Stankoven remembers it's my birthday?"
yeah,
Really
and I was like, oh yeah, he remembers. So let's go ahead and pull it up and see what Logan Stankoven in the middle of a Stanley Cup playoff run has to say about Gino's birthday.
Hey Gino, it's Logan Stankoven here from the Canes. Just wishing you a happy 22nd birthday on behalf of Sandro. Hope you enjoy your day with friends and family.
Playing it.
I know you're a huge Canes fan, and personally wanted to say thanks to all the support. It means a lot to us players, and we're really excited for the Eastern Conference Finals coming up. Hopefully we can bring a cup back to North
I can't
Carolina
hear it
this
coming
year.
through. I
So
don't know if you're playing it
thanks
already or
again
not.
for cheering me on and the Canes, and enjoy your special day.
All right. So as you heard Gino coming through there, he wasn't able to hear it, but Gino, how did?
I couldn't hear it. My bad, guys. apologize. I just talked through that whole thing, didn't I? That's
No, no, you're
wonderful.
good. We got the big part of the message. How do you feel about going from 23 to 22 years old? You got younger over the past year.
I mean, given his performance, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, he
I
wants
think
you
I'm
to
all
be
right with it.
number 22 says you're 22, so you're 22. Um,
I think I want him more focused on winning playoff games than I do on him remembering how old I am. But you
well,
know, I wonder. Do you think he ever calls it out? You think like 5 or 6 years down the road here, he's
I
like, "Oh, it's Gino's birthday again, man."
I hope so. He's going to be getting the cameo request. So, like I said, I hope he remembers your birthday. We're paying him to
It's
remember.
it's really cool, man. I have to tell you that is one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten. I didn't even know cameo was still a thing, and so that was an awesome surprise, and I really appreciate that one. That was awesome.
I got you, bro. It's fun to do it, and you're one of the real ones. So yeah, happy to do it. Let's get back into the second period, second and third period here. Not much in terms of the scoring department. An empty net at the end of the third period for Svechnikov. But the second period is where we start to sort of see it get a little bit chippy and things go a little bit sideways in the composure department for Montreal.
Yeah, I think they're tired. I think they're just worn out, and I think nothing's going their way. And when you're out there on the ice, and especially in these big games, and literally every single play is not going your way, it gets frustrating. And we saw that from a lot of the veteran players, which surprised me. I actually expected a lot more of that from the Canadians' younger players, but we actually saw it from the more veteran players, and that was a little shocking to me. But I get it. They're trying to change anything they can. They're trying to switch the momentum in any possible way they can. I think unfortunately for them, it was just a lot of undisciplined penalties. They weren't very slick about their get backs, and I think at the
Their
end of the day, it
cross
just
checks to the
costed them.
face.
Yeah,
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 that's just you're talking about wanting to shift momentum. That's not going to be the way that you do it.
yeah.
The Canes don't do much on the power plays, aside from keep the Canadians on the hamster wheel. They
I mean,
keep
you
them
could
running.
tell.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could tell. Marty was not happy with the penalties. That was not the kind of game he was trying to coach, and I think that was felt throughout the building. I think you could just tell that all the Habs fans, I mean, after the third goal, but really also after the start of the second period, once they realized, like, yeah, they're not changing. I think that's when the energy kind of got sucked out of the place for good. And
yeah.
I think we're gonna continue. I mean, unless Montreal makes some really big changes, I don't see how that's gonna change going back to Lenovo.
Yeah, agreed. We saw Anderson get a little bit punchy. He's skating around and getting licks in on quite a few different guys, just throwing
Yeah.
jabs, and it's like, I get it, but like also, what's going on here? And then you have Evans going to town on Stankoven's wrists. So he's trying to get
Yeah, I'm
into.
I'm glad he came back. I'm so happy he didn't sustain a serious injury from that. Hopefully, I mean, all the guys have got to be banged up at this point. It doesn't matter how many games you've played or what team you're on, but you certainly have to think Montreal is feeling a lot worse than the Canes right now.
Yeah, agreed. So those Evans slashes that don't get called at Stankoven, that sort of ends the second period, and we jump into I think what a lot of people could designate as like a boring Carolina Hurricanes period. I don't think it's boring in my mind. I think it shows how well they control the game, and really how much the Canes are able to dictate what happens in the game and what the outcome of the game is going to be. They get three quick goals in like less than 3 minutes in the first period, and then they don't score the rest of the game. It doesn't mean that they weren't producing. It just that they really were wearing down Montreal, and it was interesting to watch. Right?
Yeah, I think for Rod, I think they executed that third period perfectly. I mean, they do end up scoring the empty netter, but I mean, yeah, maybe you want to go on that 5-on-3, but we were talking about it during the game, and they were doing exactly what they were being coached to do. Rod wanted them to get the puck and keep the puck away from Montreal, and they wanted to run the clock out. They were up 3-0. They had complete control. They knew they could shut Montreal down, and I think going into that third period, I think the Hurricanes have controlled like 9 periods of hockey in a row, like just absolutely dominated 9 periods of hockey. So I think Rod's confident, and I think at the end of the day, all you want to prevent is them getting a goal or two and making it a game. So I think fill the clock. They need to get 3 goals back to tie the game. They have 8 minutes on the clock. Maybe we go get some zone pressure, play around in the neutral zone. Now they got 5 minutes to get 3 goals, and it's just, I think they played it perfectly. Shut Montreal down, kept the puck, and got a couple good chances. An empty netter. Ehlers had the empty net shot. I'd love to talk about that. That was class. The Ehlers crossbar on the empty netter.
Ugh. Painful.
He, he was laughing. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, a moment like that can go like 2 ways. I mean, you can get really frustrated with yourself, but I'm actually glad he kept it really light and was laughing at himself. I think that's good. I don't think it's something that's going to eat at him mentally. And Svechnikov cleaned it up there right after, so it didn't change the outcome of the game, not even really at all. But
Yeah.
Just
Never was going
good
to.
moment. Yeah, no, but wow, maybe in the future he's got to be careful a little bit.
Maybe.
You got an empty net, maybe keep it on the ice or a little more towards the middle of the net, because
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. If that's the worst that happens in the game, I'll take it. And I think that sort of just brings us to the end of the game. Maybe tie it up. I don't want to, sort of count all the chicks before the eggs hatch, but looking forward, if the Canes do get a win, it's like you have to start thinking about Las Vegas and what you do there. I know that shouldn't be the priority for Rod and the players, but as fans of the games, that's something we do look forward to. What do you think about that Avs and Knights series, and what do you take away from it?
I mean, that's a shocker. It was a shocker, from game one. I don't think anyone thought. Well, I think Vegas fans probably thought, but I don't think any other fan bases, I guess I should say, thought Vegas had that one in the bag. No. I don't think there was a single, and for them to get hot when they're getting hot will be really interesting. And we look at it. One thing I do like is that they have a little bit of a long break, which you could say rest, but look how that affected us going into round 3. I think by chance that we get there in the next couple of games, I think that could play to our favor in game 1. We would have home ice. Well, now we'll have home ice advantage, regardless. So that's awesome. But just what a shocker. And yeah. Vegas is good. It's a scary matchup. I think either of those teams would have been scary. I think there was a couple teams on the East that, the Canes would have favored, or on the West that the Canes would have favored over them. But, at the end of the day, it's better than playing the Avs, I think. And, I think that would be a really exciting matchup. They're definitely going to start studying, I think. The way the games have gone, the way everything's gone, I think you kind of know your game plan against Montreal, to be honest. I think it's time to start maybe looking into the future a little bit. And, I think it's an exciting one for sure.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to see what the playoffs have in store. The rest of the playoffs have in store for the Canes. It's so cool. We're in such a different spot than we've been in the last few years. Oh, go ahead.
What was our regular season matchup against Vegas? How did we do? I don't look into that too deep, but I'm a little curious.
Yeah, let's see.
I do also want to. About the whole Bruce cast, them firing their coach with
and then bringing Tortzen.
Oh my gosh, what an absolute. I mean, I think when they did that, everyone was thinking, "Oh, these idiots." But Oh my God, what a move!
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they've played phenomenally under Torts, and yikes.
Yeah, just before we wrap up here, looked up the regular season matchups with the Golden Knights. It looks like we played them in a span of 3 days back in October, and we lost 6-3, and then we lost 4-1. So it's been a while since
Yeah,
I think that's pre-Marner trade.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay. Well, I mean,
completely different teams.
yeah, and also, we were 3-0 or 0-3 against the Canadians, and
Yeah,
that hasn't, really had an effect. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's going to be a fun matchup. I think we should talk about game, 5 a little bit. I think they're going to come out firing. I I mean, there's not a lot to talk about, I guess. I think they're going to come out firing. I think
yeah,
we'll know, like I said, fast who's taking that game. I think Montreal has a lot of big things to fix if they plan on making it a series, but I almost think the Kings just put the nail in the coffin with this one. So
yeah. I think the first period on Friday will really take the shape of what the first period uh, tonight did. I think the Canes are really going to want to again start fast, bury them, and just do what they exceed so exceptionally well at, and play with the lead and maintain the lead. But yeah, I think my prediction. Remember, after game 1, I was like, no, I still believe it. Canes in 5. I'm still up on that. I think
okay, yeah,
I'm gonna be the optimist here, and I'm gonna say they get it done. They get it done in front of the home crowd, and we're gonna be watching some Canes versus Golden Knights. Hopefully, if everything goes my way.
yeah. You know what, I'm hoping for that outcome as well. And honestly, I think I've kind of been swayed to that prediction through the second, third, and fourth game. So, yeah, wow, just what a night. Let's go.
Yep,
Four
yep,
zero, nice commanding win. Oh
big
man,
time.
in Montreal, took both on the road too.
It's
I
big
mean,
time.
after they stole one on the road from us, in game 1, we go and take both of their games. You couldn't have wrote a better story for that. That's awesome.
Agreed. I think we call it here. Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
You
thank
know,
you guys.
we're trying to figure this out. Technical difficulties at the beginning of today's stream, but we're working out the kinks. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much. And we look forward to being back live on Friday, covering whatever happens in Game 5.
Game 5, baby. Yeah, thank you guys so much, and stick around because I'm sure this podcast will only get better. So.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Have a good one.